Hello and welcome to the Greenway Advisory Committee meeting of April 15th, 2019. We do have a quorum. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item of business is to order or to approve the minutes from last meeting. If anyone would like to motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I second.
And approved by saying aye, opposed by saying no.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimously approved. Last meeting, we talked about the meeting frequency. We wanted to check with Montique about the grants, any grants that we have available for the Greenway Advisory Committee. Currently, the budget for the grant is used up, and so there's a $0 budget. And in the new budget this year, there's no additional monies that were requested from the board. That doesn't mean that, obviously the budget hasn't been approved yet, but no additional funds has been requested. However, Montique said that she is applying for a grant. The grant term is not open yet. So she's applying for grant money, but it just hasn't reached the date that she could apply for one yet. The security cameras is the next item of business, and I know that they have been moved.
Yes, so they were, we did already have them installed, and then we were going to move them throughout the Greenway for better surveillance, just to make sure that there's, that we have an eye through the majority of it if we can, so.
That's good. I think it's probably a good idea to move them from time to time, just so people don't learn where the blind spots are. And
absolutely.
And the next item is that the signs have been installed, which we talked about last time. Mm-hmm. I know on the next item, the graffiti and defacement, I just want to remind everyone, if you choose to do that with the cameras that are there now, it is a misdemeanor violation. We will be looking into those. Of course, David and the maintenance team has cleaned up all the old stuff and try to stay on top of any new stuff that develops.
Yeah, and our Parks and Rec team as well have tried to stay on that if we see it, clean it, things like that. But you're right, we do have those open in use now, so we will be caught on camera.
Yes, nice.
Did we check to see if there's just one really big space, if like you were coming from the roundabout back down near Shreveman? Did we look to see if there's any way we could like plant some trees or something in this one open space where it's just enough for cars to get through there? And I have heard a couple of calls come through with vehicles on the Greenway.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I kind of brought that up. And I know he was going to look to make sure it didn't affect the grant, but maybe just planting a couple extra trees through there might help. I didn't know if they had time to look into that or not.
So that's definitely something Montique will be checking, especially because the grant that we've already had to do the existing portion, any new funds that we have will have additional restrictions too. So I think that she's trying to do, check into both of them at once.
I think
definitely
if you
needs
put
to be
some type of railing or something, that would just be tacky. But maybe if we just put like some nice shrubs that'll grow not too high, because you want to be able to see, you want to feel safe when you're out there, but also so that cars can't go through there.
right. Make it a lot more inconvenient.
Maybe the next time I get through there and there's like nobody really behind me, if I can kind of get you a photo of where it is so you can see how large the gap is, maybe
Okay.
that would help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to keep it looking pretty and green and not, don't. But at the same time, please don't drive on our Greenway. We worked really hard for this. And it's for walking, not driving your cars.
Now, as far as the meeting frequency, since we don't have a budget, the maintenance is continuing to be done by Parks and Rec and also the maintenance department, kind of depending on what it is. I guess you guys kind of take turns. Do you see any? We don't have any money to spend where we can decide on the budget. I did submit to Montique a list of the different projects that we all kind of submitted our ideas to. So, because different grants call for different sorts of projects, so I listed every one of them. And then she'll apply for any grants that would correspond with those requests. And then if any comes in, of course, she would let us know she's not able to apply for them yet. They're just not open yet. So is there a need for us to meet in the next
Probably
couple of
on an
months?
as-needed basis at this point.
Did we determine what the grant requirement was for meeting frequency?
Yes, the grant does not require us to meet at a certain frequency.
So unless we get some more grants or something major comes up, probably just
As needed. So unless anyone objects, I'm just thinking about maybe having our next meeting scheduled for maybe August. But if something comes up before then, of course, we can meet before then.
Not a quarterly, are you thinking, or just?
We can do it quarterly, either one. But I was just thinking, with us not having applied for the grant yet, by the time that the grant opens, it's applied for and it's submitted.
When is
before-
the opening?
I didn't ask her, I'm sorry. I don't know off the top of my head, so. But sometimes it takes a couple months for them to sort through all of the applications, so if we hear something different, we can add a meeting. But I don't want to waste everybody's time if there's no money to spend, nothing that we can do going forward. There's no reason to meet if there's no project that we can move forward with.
And I think as members, if you're out there and you run across an issue, you just contact Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and then we can, if it's an emergency, we can add it to the, agenda and call a meeting. But as for right now, there's nothing for us to really talk about too much as far as new projects goes until we find out about any Greenway funding. On the next item of new business is the Greenway cleanup, May 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are 45 volunteers from Comcast Cares to help with the event. Do you want to talk about that?
That is actually something that I believe Adam and Catherine Green have kind of spearheaded. I was just made aware of this today, so I just
nice.
wanted to make sure that you guys knew. So if you are part of your civic groups, your churches, your community outreach, anything like that, whoever wants to make sure that they sign up for it or bring that to the attention of different people in your community, get sign-ups and volunteers and things like that. The banners are going up. If you have not already seen them today or tomorrow, I think. Did we send them out today? Okay. If they haven't gotten put out today, then it's tomorrow. But Parks and Rec are setting up those banners, so they'll be at 5 different locations, notifying everyone of the project. So that's all I have on that.
And just so you know, I'm a little sad because I wanted to come help with this, but I found out today is also the Laverne Lake 5K that morning. So I kind of have to pick and choose. So I'm going to try.
So you can run really fast and then
not
get here
me.
by 10.
So I'm going to try to do a little bit of both if I can, because I think there's this 10 to 2, and I believe the 5K starts pretty early. So I'm gonna try to get out there, but no promises.
Okay.
I'll try to send some of my friends, though.
You have a lot of good friends.
I do.
Yeah, a lot of people that would help. But yeah, like I said, so I would probably contact, like I said, Adam or Catherine, just to make sure that they are spearheading that part. So to let them know.
Okay. Is there any new items that someone wants to have added to the next meeting agenda?
Nope.
No? Would anyone like to make a comment?
I would like to thank you. You've done a wonderful job in this small time frame that we've got to be here. And
Hasn't been much to do just yet, but
no, but I've kind of been here for a really long time and watched it come here, and so it's a pleasure to see everybody work together. And it doesn't matter what part of the phase you came in, we did it. Just so y'all know, we did it. And I look forward to seeing it expand and
too.
making it even better for the community. And thank you very much for leading us.
thank you.
Do we want to plan anything for a celebration for the 1-year anniversary of its opening? Because that will be coming up in...
There could be cake.
When is the 1-year anniversary?
It'll be in August, right?
I believe so, because we had a lot of issues with with the weather delays. But if you can,
So we might want to
Felicia,
meet
get us
before
something.
then, once in the summer, that way we get the date, we can get the official date that it opened, and see if maybe the city will give a little bit of money for
Cake.
for doing something for.
The,
Because I know that day they did a 5K, so it mean we might do another, a walk or a 5K that
That would
people
be
don't
cute.
have to pay for.
okay.
Just
Get
kind of
the
like a
community
big
moving.
community walk.
Because it was a small ceremony to start with. So if every year, if we just keep celebrating and,
Maybe it'll grow.
I know, it'll keep growing.
Well, I will check in on that. Do you want to then schedule the meeting for maybe
June?
June? We could probably do a June meeting and then go from there.
That'd be great to have the community come out and celebrate
Because
with
when
us.
is the budget approved?
It's about that same time.
Because even if we ask for $500,
Those smaller amounts like that are kind of, a little easier to get access to than
then like
it wouldn't have to
100,000.
go before it wouldn't have to go before the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. In other words, that would be an administrative decision on Parks and Rec would make that
I was gonna
decision.
say, I would settle for cupcakes. I mean, if it's a big issue, we'll take cupcakes.
So I'll check and
Get Tony to get some Little Debbie's donated for us.
I'll check in with AC and ask him if he could squeeze that into his budget for the upcoming fiscal year. So
Maybe we could get a lot of social media, signs, whatever it takes to get people to come out and celebrate with us, kind of like a second grand opening, come on out. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have recently moved here and maybe aren't even aware, so that would be great.
Well, we could also, if you wanted to, in the spirit of health, wellness, walking, things like that, get some of our local businesses to donate things for its first birthday. Hey, Greenway's first birthday party! Woohoo! Donate.
The cake.
cake for health.
And, take your first steps at its
Carrot
first
cake?
birthday.
It has
Carrot
eggs
cake?
in it.
It's vegetable. So, those are just thoughts, ideas. So if we wanted to revisit it, of course, donations normally take a while. So if we wanted to correspond through email for this board, that way we keep track of that. They normally take 4 to 6 weeks from any corporate type business. Dick's Sporting Goods, Academy Sports and Outdoors, Fleet Feet, places like that we could potentially focus on, GNC, things like that. So if we wanted to reach out and possibly ask for people like that to donate for our first birthday party.
We could email you with that information. We wouldn't be able to email one another because of the sunshine laws, but we could all send it to you and you could kind of compile it and let us know
Okay.
what the status is. That sounds good. So we'll plan to meet in the June meeting, and then we'll kind of go from there, seeing if we've, had been able to apply for any of the grants, if we've received any, if we've had any funding for the 1-year anniversary. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Do you have any comments that you would like to add?
It's recognition for Greenway.
Yeah, I would like, I want to get together the information and then I'll just bring it to the next meeting, but in years past, we had discussed with previous parks directors about a blue way instead of a greenway, and it really is a low-cost extension of a greenway thought process, and it's really a canoe trail. And
Okay.
we have an asset here with this lake, and it really doesn't involve much more than a sign kiosk and maps, and then just promote, the Blue Way and the things along that path, like a cypress grove or whatever's out on the lake. But I think it's something that we could keep going with, that notwithstanding the budgetary
Right.
constraints, but it's something that would be cheap enough that we could probably
I do like that.
do that.
I just went kayaking for the first time last year, and I really liked it. And like you said, it's right here.
So I'll present on that, if you don't mind.
Okay, that'll be fine. Do you mind adding to the agenda item, something to discuss next meeting in June for the Blue Way, and then also the 1-year anniversary celebration? That'll be good things for us to talk about in June. Yes, please. Is there any other comments from the board members? Well, with that, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.